Hi.
All right. Hi.
Hey.
Hi. Yay.
I know. Here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are 6 years later. Here we are.
Here we are. And you're in Texas, and I'm still in the same spot.
I know.
So excited to be here this morning. My name is Allison Fuller. I'm a platinum director with Stella and Dot in Southern California, in a little town called Ladera Ranch. And this is my friend Sally Neff, who is a star director and now lives in Texas. But I met her when she was like my neighbor. Via Kentucky, she transplanted to Ladera Ranch. What year was that? Was that 6 years ago?
That was in 2011.
2011.
Yes. We moved there in August of 2011.
So 6 years.
6 years ago.
6 years on the spot. So what we're going to do today is just chat, have a little chat about how you can take a business and start a business in a town that you don't know anybody in, and then take that same business and go to another town that you don't know anybody in, but now you have a business that you're taking with you. And, you know, Sally Neff has done both scenarios. And so we're just going to have a little chat about how that all transpired. So Sally,
Right.
like, where did you first see Stella and Dot?
Okay. So, hi. So happy to be here with my girl. I lived in Kentucky and I was a teacher. I'd been a teacher for 10 years and I lived in a little town outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. And I went to a holiday shopping market. And I saw Stella and Dot. Had never seen it before. Saw the Sophia.
Hurlbid.
No, there was another one. I don't remember the name. Charlotte statement necklace.
Yes.
Pearls. Lots of gold chains. Caught my eye. I did not buy it that night. I took my sponsor's card. Her name's Courtney Shannon. I took her card and I went home and thought about it and I ended up buying the necklace. And I hosted a couple trunk shows. And then my husband accepted a job that moved us to Ladera Ranch, 2 streets over from this girl. But I had no idea where I was. And Courtney had posted the Waverly bag on Facebook, the first Waverly bag that we came out with. And I lived in California probably about 3 weeks. And I messaged her and I said, I love that bag. Tell me about it. And she said, oh, it's buttery leather. I was like, oh my gosh, it was my birthday. And so she mentioned to me, she said, you know, this could be a perfect time for you to go ahead and, you know, sign up, because we talked about it. And I was like, no, I'm a teacher. I'm moving to California. Not interested, but I love your product. So that day, something was kind of different. My mom was visiting. My mom encouraged me to do it because she said, well, maybe there are meetings. Okay. So I reached out to Courtney and I said, are there meetings? And she said, there are meetings. There's a meeting. Actually, like, your name popped up. No, Allison. Anywho, so I thought, okay, what's it going to hurt? Like, what's going to happen? What's really going to happen out of this? Worst case scenario, I guess I pay $199. I get some free jewelry and
Yep.
I'll just see what happens. So, there we go.
And then
Got started.
that's how it all started.
That's how it all started.
How did you get started?
Yeah. So let's backtrack. Who I knew in California?
Oh yeah. Who did you know?
No one.
Nobody.
Hadn't met you yet. 0 people. I knew my husband and my 3-year-old child. Hadn't even met my neighbors when I signed up. My neighbor just happened to be Jennifer Glava, who was Allison's first stylist on her team. So we're not on the same team.
Crazy turn of events, but yes. So you finally met your neighbors. You're in California.
I did. So, well, backtrack. So I didn't know anybody. I started, okay, hold on. So, sorry. So, didn't know anyone. And I decided that I was going to watch these training videos. So I started watching the training videos way back before we had Stellaverse. And I realized, all right, I need to get the word out that I'm doing this. So I made a list, a really big list of, I made a really big list of people all across the United States. Family members. I'd been a teacher for 10 years, so some students, parents that I always connected with over style. I made a list of college friends. I probably mailed out 20 lookbooks. And then with personal notes suggesting items that they might like. I think I gathered like $500 in orders just from mailing out.
On a lookbook.
Yep. Because I was like, okay, I need to sell $1,000 in my first 30 days. Like, got to do that. And wasn't really sure how I was going to do it, but I watched enough videos. And my husband traveled, and Clark was 3, so he went to bed. Matthew was gone. I lived in a place where I knew no one, so I was like, why not mail lookbooks to people? And so then I thought,
that sounds like fun.
well, I need to also, I guess I got to get started, so I'll have to invite some people over. And the park right by my house, I went every night with Clark after dinner, and we played. And there were like 3 or 4 ladies, moms, that I didn't know them, but we would have chit-chat conversation. Our kids would play in the sandbox. So on a Monday night, I went over with my little mini lookbooks, and I got the courage to say, hey, you are the only people I know here, and I'm going to have wine at my house on Thursday, and I've got some really cute jewelry. I would love for you to come. I need a girls' night, and you all are cute and fun. You're the only people I know. Let's hang out. And I gave them the little mini lookbooks. They're looking at it. Now, mind you, Allison lives 2 blocks over. Okay, so in this little town. So then they're looking at these lookbooks, and they're like, this stuff is so cute. That's all I had to hear. Okay, because I'd watched enough videos. And I said, oh my gosh, well, I should just bring a full lookbook over and drop it on your doorstep. Where do you live? So I had my phone. They gave me like their address. So the next morning I walked over with the full lookbook, left a little note, said, please bring a friend. 2 of them brought friends. I think 8 people came that night.
Yep.
They brought friends. I don't know. I sold $900 and booked a trunk show. That was the initial beginning. Okay. So with that one trunk show I booked, well, because the girl Kelly was there, and she was like, my mom would love this jewelry. And I said, oh, well then I need to do a trunk show for you, because you're going to get lots of jewelry for free. Because I'd watched enough videos that I knew that was what I was supposed to say. So she had a trunk show, and her mother did really like the jewelry. Her mom bought, I think, $1,300 worth of jewelry at that first trunk show. And that's when I decided, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do this. So the next step I did, I went to my son's Montessori school, and I asked to speak to the director, and I proposed to her. I'd been a teacher for 10 years. I knew private schools needed money. I would love to do a fundraiser set up for like 3 days, and all the commission would go back to the school. We could do it right before holiday. And I had a huge trunk show doing that. I did donate all the money back to the school. Yep. I think it was $1,000 check. And I built lots of customers that way. I booked a couple trunk shows.
Lots of people that you didn't know.
Yes. So, I mean, after that, the gates started opening. I would walk into boutiques and talk to people about doing pop-ups. I would go to salons and talk to people about doing pop-ups. I was involved in play groups with my little boy. I would invite those people over to shop. You
intentionally just put yourself in places where women are.
And I made sure that, I was the girl who would go to the petting zoo wearing the Pegasus necklace with a white t-shirt and jean shorts. I wore the product, all
day, every day.
All day, every day. Yes.
All day, every day. And so at the end of your Jumpstart, do you remember what it looked like? The
end of my Jumpstart, well, that's before we had associate stylists. So in the first 60 days, now I did go back to Kentucky for Christmas, but at the end of my Jumpstart, I had sold $22,000. $22,000. And I had sponsored a few people. One was a Pure Barre instructor, because I also went into the Pure Barre studio where I was taking classes. I literally went in with a portfolio of jewelry one day because someone asked to see it. So I was in the lobby with my portfolio of jewelry open. You bring a portfolio of jewelry into a lobby of women, and automatically people were asking. So the owner was there, and I was like, you know what? I should really just come in and do a trunk show. She's like, oh yeah, why don't we do that? So one of the Pure Barre instructors signed up, and then a girl on social media from Kentucky saw me doing it, and she joined the team. So in the first 60 days, I had 2 stylists.
And then how long were you actually in California for?
I was there for 18 months.
And how big was your team when
the team, I would say when I left, was probably 50 people that we had promoted to director.
Yeah.
3 stars 3 stars, and it was fast and furious. I had a baby in the middle of all this. I was on bed rest. It works.
And did you sponsor girls in California, in Kentucky,
I did.
all over the place?
The 2 of the stars were in California, and then 1 of the stars was in Kentucky. So yes, I kind of built both areas of, where I grew up, and then also where I'd moved.
And so then you get the news you have to move to Texas.
Yes.
And how was that like?
Well, all right. Well,
what's the first thing you did? How did you know that you were going to be
this business? The first thing I kind of thought was, all right, I did this in California. I can go do it again. I literally knew I knew what I needed to do the second time around because I had done it before. Yep. So I made a game plan. And, I did a lot of research of kind of like different places where I could connect with people. Where would be the workout studios where I go? Where would my children go to school? And it's more about when you're moving, and especially moving into a new place with a business. First of all, my family came first. So a lot of it was connecting my family into the environment where we were moving. But I knew as I met people that I would also be sharing, when people ask me, like, what do you do? Well, I work from home. I'm a stylist with Stella and Dot. Have you ever heard of us? And it wasn't something that, it was this little secret that I kept. I was very proud, very open about what I did. And, when you move to a new city and a new state and you don't know anyone, because moving to Texas, I did. I knew like 1 or 2 people, but they weren't, close by. One was in Dallas. So the first thing I did was I reached out to her because I knew the moment I landed in Texas, I needed to get started. So before my house was literally unpacked, I did a trunk show. Yeah. We did not have babysitters. My child was like 9 months old, and I convinced my husband that he didn't need to work that morning and that he needed to stay at home and watch the kids so I could go do this trunk show. So the moment I got here, I did a trunk show and I met people. And at that trunk show, it was 30 minutes south of where I live. The first thing I did was connect with everybody. And I basically said, listen, I just moved here. I live north. I live in Frisco. If anyone knows anyone who lives in Frisco, Texas, I would be like elated if you could connect me with them, like in an email. I'd love to go to coffee. This is not about my business. Like, I need to know where pediatricians are. I need to know where my child's going to school. I need to know, like, we were renting a house, so I was very curious about other areas where we could possibly move. I think that first month that I lived here, I'm not kidding, I went to coffee with different people like 3 days out of the 5-day working week. And I just met people and I asked them questions and I got curious. And of course, as you're meeting people, they're going to ask you, well, so do you work? What do you do? So I would tell people, and then, they'd look at the jewelry and I'd be like, oh my gosh, you know what? I should just have a trunk show for you.
Yep.
Get to know people. And then I did things very strategically. I would go to I've had different hair colors because I would go to different salons. Like at one point in time, my hair was like almost black. So then I had to go to a couple different salons to like get it corrected. I'd get on Groupon and find try these 5 workout classes, for $39. I had so many Groupons that like, I'd forget like what I had purchased. I mean, it wasn't this bad, but I might go somewhere to get my eyebrows waxed and my lip waxed somewhere else, like nails done somewhere, toes done the other spot. Because the thing is, you have to like really put yourself out there and touch all these different points. And I knew that if I did that, I told my husband, I said, you know what? I need 90 days. And in 90 days, I will know if I have a business here. And by the time 90 days rolled around, I was like, we're good to go.
Yeah, we have business here. We are just fine. Okay, and so 1 year later, crazy hustle.
Yes.
Tell us what happened after a year.
So 1 year later, we had promoted to senior director.
Yep.
And then the year following that, we promoted to star director. So within the first 4 years, there was a promotion every year.
And so now, where is your team?
My team is now over 400 people, stylists. And we've got big goals this fall.
Big goals. But you stay in lots of different states.
Director.
You are in Texas.
That's right.
And the Carolinas.
Yes. California, Kentucky, Texas. I mean, pretty much all over, but our leaders span across the United States. Never would have thought in the girls over from the park.
Having people over for the park.
That's right.
So just to wrap it up, like top 3 tips, like what if someone is looking
so top 3 tips, I think you have to make a really big list.
Okay.
A really big list, and you have to think really big. Like, you don't think like just right here where you are. That's the first thing that I did, and it was one of the smartest things that I did, because I spread the word, and it wasn't just via social media. I mean, I did a lot of like personal outreach, calling, texting, mailing lookbooks, letting people know that I was doing this. I think second one is, you know, as we always talk about it, you just have to be bold. Like, you've got to be bold. You've got to think big. If you're in your comfort zone, you have to step out of your comfort zone. Constantly meeting new people. Meetup.com. You know, I still get notifications from when I first moved here. I signed up for meetup.com for all of these different things I might enjoy doing. So I get, you know, like a notification sometimes that comes through my email saying, the socializers are getting together at the Shops of Legacy tonight at blah, 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 blah. And I never did those things, but I had myself in so many different pockets that if I would ever get to the point where I'm like, okay, who am I going to talk to about my business? Like, literally, I'd probably open up my email and be like, look at all these things I could go
here. Yeah.
So put yourself out there. It's more about meeting people. I'm very curious. I love knowing about people. I love knowing about people's stories. The business comes second. You know, the business comes second. I feel like that when you're doing this, it's a genuine, authentic, wanting to connect with people, wanting to get to know them. Once they find out what you do, the product sells itself. And people are shopping everywhere. Everywhere.
All the time.
That's what everybody does, is shop. And now with 2.0, oh my gosh. Like, it's, and tops, like, we just launched tops today.
I'm so excited for my order.
I know.
Awesome.
And then the third one, I think, is, you know, you have to be ready to, you know, showcase what you're, like, you just have to be able to think big, not be afraid, invite people over to your house. Your house is a boutique. People come in and out of here all the time. Like, if I meet somebody, I'm like, you know what, you can always swing by and see my samples. Like, it's more about connecting with people. Those trunk shows come secondary, and it's just one of those things that, you know, when you put yourself out there and you do the work, you have to take action. It's not going to come to you. But this business model works, and it works when you work it.
Yeah, baby. Thank you, Sally Neff.
Thank you, Allison Fuller.
That was fun.
That was